Okay, this is fun. These are the taxes that you were supposed to have here and all these kind of things. 87 was 2,800 liras. 2,800 liras is a little bit more than €1. 88, already 1 year later, was 3,300. So a lot of difference. But what I'm thinking right now is that let's say that 3,300, we can round it up on the other side on €2. It was €2 in 88. We had been told that the Italian inflation in the last years was always around 1-2% a year. Okay, so since we got the euro and all these kind of things, so we have €2, and now is €22. So it's 11 times. And by the way, here I rounded up a lot, so it's probably 15 times the price in the taxes to own a scooter, so that you have to pay to have a scooter. By the way, at the time it was mandatory to pay it only when you circulated on the roads. Right now it's something that, if I'm not wrong, you have to pay for owning it. I don't know the situation for this. I don't know if I see the license plate and I discover I have a lot of money to pay back to the government, but at a certain point it didn't arrive, the request to pay, and I didn't. So that's the fact. But 15 times. 15 times is 1,500%. And to arrive at the 1,500% increase in what is right now is 30 years, sorry, it must be more than 2% a year inflation. So this gives you the idea of the inflation we have and the lies that they are telling us. This is really curious. So that's the point. I have to check and do the right calculation to see how much the inflation was, but 1,500% in 30 years? Yeah, that sounds to me like, I don't know, you have to do the composite and all these kind of things, but 1,500 in 30 years is 50 a year or something like that. Let me now rant a little against socialism, and this is very simple. As I said, 1,500% increase on the tax to own this. So you have that, you have the fact that you have to register it and put a license plate. It is on your name and all these kind of things. I have one, but it was introduced in '96. And I don't know if it's still regular now or you have to change to the 6 number. There's the mandatory insurance that at the time I was paying probably 50,000 lira, so 25 euros yearly. Now is more than 200 euros because they don't make a distinction between a normal moped or something like that and motorbike, and they just based on the power and these kind of things, but really sucks. So then there's the mandatory helmet, obviously, that on something like this it's sometimes ridiculous, especially if you, like me, like to go on secondary streets and these kind of things. And now is there's the license plate. The license plate means one thing, that if you buy, you have to pay the transfer of property. So you have to go to the equivalent, Italian equivalent of the Department of Motor Vehicles, and it's probably right now something as on the order of 80 euros, something like that. So just to imagine a kid, as I was, I got the scooter and I was free to go around. I had to pay, yes, 3,000 liras was not a big deal. A salary, the standard salary at the time was 1.5 million in lira, so it was really 3,000 liras was almost nothing. Now it's a salary is around 1,000 euros, 1,200 euros, these kind of things, the equivalent salary, and you have to pay 15 times for the taxes, they pay 10 times the insurance, and all these kind of things. And the transfer is the biggest problem. And by the way, there's a lot of these moped around here that they lost the documents. In my case, in my family, we kept everything and all these kind of things, so I still have the documents. But if you don't have the documents, there's no way that you can register it unless it become an historical vehicle. And I don't know if a little moped like this can become one, but if it can, it probably you spend 600, 800 euros on it. So basically something that was an asset, because it was a property that allowed you to go around and was very nice to just go out, buy the groceries or all these kind of things. You don't have the problem of parking the car, especially in Italy where it's impossible. So it was an asset. It became a cost. Everything under socialism is transformed to an asset that gives you wealth, to a debit that brings you to poverty. So something like this, just to keep it around, is probably 300 euros a year, nothing more than that. And you think, really, 300 euros a year is almost 30 euros a month, €1 a day to go around with this. And is it worth? I don't know. It depends for you if you use it a lot. If you are like me, that you don't use it a lot, you just like probably in summer to take it for a spin around, and I will go around out with this 10 times a year, 300 bucks, so 30 euros every time I take it. So that becomes really something that is kind of expensive, and it sucks. So this is the life under socialism. Every asset is transformed in a debt, and you're screwed. So this is the hell we live in right now. It was already an hell like that before Europe. After Europe, it became absolutely an absurdity. By the way, they still didn't touch this as a regulation from the standpoint of climate shit, the climate change, or how you want to call it right now. But I'm pretty sure that these things, burning oil, is considered something that is very polluting. Also, if you can do probably 100 kilometers or something like that with 1 liter, or 50 kilometers with 1 liter for sure, and you really burn nothing. So in the environment is really nothing. This for sure, you pollute less with this, with the 2 times engine and with the oil burning than with your fucking SUV that is absolutely considered something environmentally friendly right now. And by the way, I think that all the environmental things right now, all the climate change things are NOx, so I really don't care about it. But also, if you buy into the lie, it's not even possible to think that this can pollute more than SUV. But there are a lot of proposals to ban every 2 times engine because it's polluting. They are not doing it because the lawnmower and all these kind of things. So that is a problem. There will be a problem for the chainsaw. There will be a problem for all these equipments. So we are still there. But I'm pretty sure in some years, if nothing changes in the right direction, something like this will be prohibited in Europe. So this is the life under socialism. And yes, when I was a kid, 3,000 liras, €1.50, €2, and you were good to go. The insurance was something that was not mandatory. I always made it because I felt safer in that way, but was not mandatory for a thing like this, as is not mandatory for a bicycle, because there's no difference between these and a bicycle. You basically go at the same speed and all these kind of things. So, you know, a kid, something that was nothing compared to was 1,000 of a salary. It was possible to go around. Right now, to go around with this is just absolutely is a fifth of a salary. So notice the difference. There was 2,000 because 3,000 and 1.5 million liras. So it was 2 on 1,000 of a standard salary to own a scooter, the amount you had to pay every year. And by the way, I was already against that tax at the time, but there was 2,000 of salary. Now it's 300 bucks on, and I say 1,500 euros salary, and I'm really saying too much because the equivalent salary right now, the one I mentioned before, is probably 1,200. But let's say 1,500 to make it easier is 1/5 of your salary, your monthly salary, to have a scooter. So for a month, you have to take 1/5 of that and put it in the scooter so you can go around for the year. That is life under socialism. That is how they transform every asset in a debt. And it's on the scooter, it's on the car, it's on your house, it's everything you own. The goal is to make you own nothing and, in their words, be happy. In my words, be totally screwed. And we are going in this situation that we are totally screwed. So this is my rant. Sorry, I had this time and I didn't want to do other things. I want to check this and leave this and see what happens with the acetic acid in there. And in the meantime, have fun. Thank you for watching, and see you tomorrow with the results of this.